This is definitely a story based on historical fact. In the old times in Ireland, there were what we called the hiring fairs. That's where a boy or a girl would go to the hiring fair to hire out with a farmer as a farmer's servant or a dairy maid, or a lad just as a farmer's servant round the yard and helping him with his work on the land. And this little girl went to the hiring fair one day. And what they used to do was stand in a line all day. Nowadays they'd call it a queue. But she stood there all day, and every boy and girl in the whole line was taken, and she was left there alone, and nobody had hired her. And she was thinking of going home and telling her parents that nobody hired her. And a funny little man came up to her with a cocked hat on him. Now, you wouldn't believe it, but this cocked hat was coloured pink. And he had a jacket with brass buttons on it, and that was coloured a bright, vivid blue. And he had a pair of knee breeches on him that were coloured emerald green. And he had a pair of yellow stockings on him up to the top of his knee breeches, and a pair of beautiful shiny brown boots on him. And he had a big moustache like the handlebars of a bicycle, and a beard that was reaching down to the brass buckle of his belt. And he said, "Did nobody take you, little girl?" "No, sir," she said. "Well, would you come home with me, little girl?" "Well, sir," she said, "the way it is, my parents told me to arrange how much I'd be paid for my service with you, because these were contracts for 6 months. And he felt her biceps, and he said, "You're a strong little girl, I'll pay you well." Well, they travelled up a high hill and down into a low valley, between green hedges and ditches, and they left the hard road and turned on to the soft road between green hedges and ditches. And they came then to a place where there were trees growing both sides of the road, what you'd call in literature a sylvan tunnel. And when they came out of the sylvan tunnel, the road took a sharp turn to the left, and they came into a clearing, and there was the most comfortable little thatched cottage you ever saw. "How do you call that, little girl?" he said. "Oh, the hut or the house or whatever you please, sir." "No, no," he said, "that's the great castle of Straw Bungle." He took a big iron key out of his pocket, and he opened the door and went in, and he threw a battle of turf on the fire. "What do you call that, little girl?" "That's the hot or the heat or whatever you please, sir." "No," he said, "that's hot cockalorum." At the next thing, the cat came in and stretched by the fire. "What do you call that, little girl?" "That's the kit or the cat or whatever you please, sir." "Oh, no," he said, "that's white-faced simony." And she said, "If I may make so bold, what do I call you, sir?" "Oh, my name is Don Nipiri Septo," he said. "And I think we'll put on the kettle and we'll make tea." And you can picture her, dutiful little girl that she was, over to the crock of water with the pannikin filling the kettle. "What do you call that, little girl?" "That's the wet or the water or whatever you please, sir." "No," he said, "that's pondalorum." And she hung the kettle on the crane over the fire, and he then took off his boots. His feet were tired after walking the whole day through the fair. And "What do you call those, little girl?" Your boots, your brogues, whatever you please, sir." "No," he said, "they're my hay-down treaders." And then he rattled the knee of his knee breeches. What do you call those, little girl? Ah, your breeches, your breeks, whatever you please, sir. No, he said, they're my fortune's crackers. And he said, now, while we're waiting for the kettle to boil, I'll show you upstairs where you're going to sleep. I'll show you your room, where you're going to live for the next 6 months. And going up the stairs, he said, what do you call those, little girl? Oh, the steps, or the stairs, or whatever you please, sir. He said, no, he said, that's the wooden hill. And he threw open a door at the top of the stairs, and he showed her bed and her room. And what do you call that, little girl? Oh, the bed or the bunk, or whatever you please, sir. No, he said, that's the barnacle. And they had their supper, and milked the cow, and locked up and away to bed for the night. In the middle of the night, there was a knock on his door. What's wrong, little girl, he said. Rise up from your barnacle, Don Nipiri Septo, put on your fortune's crackers and your hay-down treaders and come down the wooden hill, because white-faced simony is a spark of hot cockalorum on his tail. If we don't pour pandalorum on it quick, the great castle of Strawbunk will be on hot cockalorum. Now, I knew that little girl years later, and whenever we'd be playing music, we'd have to be careful not to play the Smokey House, because if we did, she'd run a mile. So we never played it after we found out that she was allergic to this reel, the Smokey House.